Okay, so what are we covering today, boys and girls? Today we are covering this thing called a personal recount essay. Now it's a very popular essay type. Okay, because a personal recount essay isn't too difficult. It's kind of like what you wrote, right, in primary school when you wrote a narrative essay. Remember your narrative essays? It's like you wrote a story, right? And then something happened. There's like a problem happening in your story. And then after that, you wrote about how you solved that problem. It's something like that. Okay. The only difference is you don't write a personal recount essay in the third person. You write it in the first person, which means you use pronouns like oops, hold on. Use pronouns like I, right, my, me, right, mine, that kind of thing, to write it. So it's not that difficult, and it's quite popular because a lot of secondary school students find that the the essay type that they still write the best would be narrative writing. Since they've been practicing it since primary school, they find it a bit easier. But remember this, boys and girls, to do good, to do an okay average narrative writing, that's not difficult, but you will have an average score, basically. Okay? To do good narrative writing, you need to have strong vocabulary. So you cannot escape the descriptive parts. You cannot escape from your personal standpoint, from your personal view, how you feel about the characters in your experience. You cannot, just one or two sentences and then you just get it over with, that kind of thing. It won't happen. All right. So if you are someone whom, or if you're someone who doesn't like to describe a lot in detail, or if you're someone who thinks that, oh, overall my vocabulary isn't that good, then you might want to reconsider writing a personal recount for your O levels or even for your end of year exams. So it's like the backup kind of essay type, right? For people whose vocabulary isn't that good. I call it backup because when they write it, they will definitely pass, but they might not do so well, you see. So write an essay that plays up to your strengths. So even if your vocabulary isn't that fantastic, your vocabulary bank is not that wide, if you're very good at logic, so for example, you're a very maths person, or you're very good in science, because things are procedural, right? You have step one, step two, step three, step four, there's cause and effect happening in science, right? If you're someone like that, then don't write a personal recount essay. Yeah? Write something like an argumentative, where you have to give reasons for why you say something is like that. Or go with an expository, where you're explaining a concept or explaining an idea. Then you will do better for that. Okay, you can always play up to your own skills. Of course, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't gain new vocabulary, right? You should always continue reading and exploring and learning more every day. um oh, Natalie says she almost failed hers because it was too dramatic. All right, now when we say personal recount essay, right, there is a hint of realism over here. So which means it must be realistic in the sense that it must be something that can happen in this world. So if it's like overly dramatic, like that's like ghosts, that kind of thing, or like something fictional, or even when people react, right, or the consequences are too dramatic, your teacher might not believe that it's your personal recount. So there's also the element of believability as well. It must be believable that it's something that a Sec 3 student could actually happen, could actually experience this in their life. Okay, so that's what we're covering today. But before we do that, let's do the traditional exercise, an editing exercise. It will be the first exercise at the beginning of your paper one. All right, let's have a look at this. Um, we know, excuse me, we know that for editing, there's always two questions where there's a tick, and then for the rest, right, you have to write something in. All right, don't be a smart aleck and put ticks for everything. You get zero. No such thing as tick everything and get 2 points kind of thing. Okay, your teachers designed this in a way that it doesn't work that way. So you are only allowed to have 2 ticks. All right. So let me just have a quick look about, let me just have a quick look at who actually completed the work online. So good job, Saron, Javier, Nathan, and Quinton for completing it online. I see that Randall actually started it but didn't key in anything. Huh. Okay. So
My bad.
um, use the answers that you gave online. I can see it over here on my end, no worries. And Wendell, you can just put in your answers. As we go along, let's have everyone answer it, right? Because I see that quite a lot of you have wrong answers. So everyone just answer all the questions for editing. Just send me your answers on the chat group, all right, whenever I call for the answers, and you should be fine. So if you haven't had a look at it yet, let's have a look at it together. Okay, oh, hold on. I have some input coming in from Natalie. Saved by her best friend, a girl about to commit suicide. And it was too dramatic. Oh, but that can actually happen in real life, couldn't it? Why did your teacher mark you down for that? That's just wrong. But I can't say, whether what your teacher did was right or wrong because I haven't seen your essay per se. But that sounds realistic and believable, right? Sensitive topics, it's something that should be talked about by everyone, especially suicide. It's like a very real thing for teenagers, especially at your age, right? It's stressful. So sensitive topic or not, I think everyone should be able to write, things that are important to them that they can use to express themselves. Yeah, but if the reason simply was that your teacher didn't want you to write about a sensitive topic and then your teacher marked you down for that, your teacher is wrong to do that. She's actually too traditional in that sense, right? We need to talk about things like that so that there's public awareness. Anyway, yeah, that sounds like censorship. That's right, Javier. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Remember, boys and girls, you're editing, right? The first line, okay, whoops, your first line and your last line will never have any errors, and they will always provide the first and last line to you without errors. And that hints to you at what the topic is, or it hints to you at what the tense, the overall tense of the passage is. So in this case, it says, in 2018, the Public Transport Council and the Land Transport Authority, immediately from this, we know that the topic has to do with transportation, right? In a sense, transportation. So that's a hint to us. And then for the last line, we see that it says, would drive taxi companies to provide better service. Would here kind of hints to us that it's kind of like in the simple past tense, right? It's a modal verb in the simple past tense. Would drive is still simple past. Okay, take note that whatever verb that comes after a modal verb, right? That's not your real verb. Your real verb is the modal verb in front, including will, shall and should, may and might, so and so forth, must. All right, whatever that comes after it, right? It's just in the simplest form. It's the base form, the verb after that. So look at this. Look at would for your tense over here. So we know that it's probably in the simple past tense. All right. So with that in mind, okay, let's have a look. In 2018, the Public Transport Council and the Land Transport Authority issued a statement stating that they has no objections. Now, I do know that some errors are very obvious. Like when you look at it, right, you're like, oh my God, there's an error, that kind of thing. Okay, so if you think like, oh my God, that's definitely wrong, just go ahead and circle it, and then later you can come back and change it. Like this doesn't make sense. The moment I have the word they is plural. How can it be has? Doesn't make sense. Has is singular. All right. Stating that they has no objections to the proposals submitted by taxi companies to imposing. This is very obvious once again. How can you have two and then you can have imposing like that after two? Right? Doesn't happen. To imposing what they term as surge pricing. Surge pricing, a system used for private car sharing applications. A system used for, I'm not sure about that. That kind of sounds correct, but I'm not sure. Let's continue. Private car sharing applications such as Uber and Grab adjust fares. System. Okay, I spotted the mistake there, but I will not let you know what it is. This one requires a bit more thinking. Okay, so I will not circle it for you. Later on, you guys think about it yourself. Number 5, adjust fares according to passenger demand in a particular area at a particular time. Taxi companies had applied to the PTC. Over here, PTC refers to your Public Transport Council, obviously. Taxi companies had applied to the PTC so that they so that they could be allowed to introduce, oh my goodness, this is definitely wrong, right? Could, how can I hear? Okay, this is definitely wrong. Because the prime verb here is be, right? And then the main one is simple past, so that's definitely wrong. All right. Could be allowed to introduce such fair pricing on bookings made on mobile application. What they just gave us more than one. Uber and Grab. How can it be application only? It's obviously wrong, isn't it? So let's just circle that first. All right. Uber and Grab car have in recent years provide real competition. This is the wrong tense. We know that it's a simple past, right? From the last sentence, the last line over here. Real competition in taxi companies resulting in an increasing number of unrented taxis. There was hope that these competition, there's no S behind. How can it be these? These is for plural. So on first scan, when I first scan it, right, these are the errors that I've realized are there. Okay, let's go ahead and let's see what your answers are. Send me your answers for question 1, boys and girls. All right, and as we move on, we'll just go through the answers. What's your answer for question 1? Javier is correct. Nathan is correct as well. Good. So is Saron. No, Saron, that is incorrect. Remember, what is the main tense of your passage? Quinton is incorrect as well. What's the main tense of the passage? Larissa is incorrect too. Saron is correct. Quinton is correct now. Okay? So always think about the main tense. However, over here, right, I must admit that this is not a very good error for question 1 because it could technically be have as well because they have, which means they have already done it in the past, but they just want to say that they have. They own that action now. So it could be the present perfect tense here that they have no objections. But anyway, right, you guys might have guessed it, and Randall has given me 2 answers. The answer for question 1 is actually had. Okay, they had no objections. How about the next one, question 2? What are your answers? I see that Larissa has given me the answer for question 2 just now. That's right, Larissa, you're right. Nathan and JV are correct as well. Fantastic. How about the rest? Jinhao and Caitlin? Randall is correct. Good. Larissa, number 2. What's your answer? Oh, Larissa has given me an answer. Sorry. Natalie, what's your answer for question 2? Okay, Caitlin is correct. Saron is correct. Thank you, Saron. Quinton is incorrect. You added an additional letter that you don't need. Look at this. This part. There's a 2 in front, right? So when you have a 2 in front, yes, there's not supposed to be any D behind. Yes, Tian Hao, you're correct. Good. Yeah, everyone has answered except for Natalie. Natalie, why do you say power just now? No, it wasn't Natalie, you said power. Oh, impose, that's right. Sorry, Natalie. So, okay, the answer is impose over here. Because when you have 2 in front, the next verb that follows has no EDs, no Ds, no ING, nothing behind. It's just the base verb, the base form. So here we have, this is the base form over here. No ING, nothing. Question 3. By taxi companies to impose what they termed as surge pricing. Surge pricing, a system used for private car sharing applications. What do you guys think? Do you think it's an error over there or do you think it's a tick? Give me your answers. Tell me what you think. Okay, so Nathan, you think it's an error? What's the error? What are you going to change? Okay, Nathan, you are absolutely correct. Good. That was a very quick catch. Agile in thinking, I see. Good. How about the rest? Javier is correct as well. Fantastic.